My child, watch this first, or you may miss what I sent just for you. Read this warning. I am stopping you right now. Do not scroll. Do not move. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Later is how you kept missing me. Later is how you walked past blessings that were already in your hands. Later is how you ended up in battles that were never meant for you. So hear me now. Watch this first, because this moment is carrying something heaven prepared specifically for your life. And if you look away again, you may miss what was designed with your name on it. I know how fast your days move. I know how often your mind races. I know how you rush from one thing to another, trying to keep yourself from falling apart. I know how easy it is for you to pass by the quiet moments where I try to speak to you. I know how the noise around you steals your attention, and how the noise inside you steals your peace. But I stepped into your path today to stop you, to freeze your mind for a moment, to pull your heart back into alignment, because you cannot afford to miss this. Not this time. My voice is more urgent now. Not because I am angry with you, but because I am trying to protect something important. I have watched you walk past my signs, not because you wanted to ignore me, but because you were overwhelmed. I have watched you brush off my warnings, not because you did not care, but because you did not know how to face the truth. I have watched you silence your spirit, not because you did not love me, but because you were afraid that if you listened, everything in your life would have to change. And I understand that fear. I saw it the moment it entered your heart. I saw how it made you hesitate every time I reached out. I saw how it made you run even when you wanted to stay. But listen to me, my child. This warning is not like the others. I am not speaking to you from a distance. I am not sending a small whisper you can accidentally tune out. I am stepping directly into your moment. I am putting my hand on your shoulder. I am lifting your chin so your heart pays attention. I am drawing you close because the moment in front of you carries weight, carries purpose, carries destiny. What I sent for you is approaching, and if your spirit is distracted, if your eyes are elsewhere, if your heart is scattered, you will miss the very thing you prayed for. You have come too far, cried too deeply, survived too much, and fought too many battles for you to miss what is finally coming toward you now. You have prayed in the dark with tears streaming down your face. You have whispered desperate words into your pillow, begging for answers, begging for direction, begging for relief. You have looked up at the ceiling, wondering if your life would ever make sense again. You have carried pain in your chest that no one else even noticed, because you have learned how to hide your breaking. And I saw it, all of it. I counted every tear. I held you in every silent moment. I stayed by you in every lonely night. You were never unprotected, even when you felt forgotten. And for all that you endured, heaven prepared something for you, something personal, something healing, something meant to shift the entire direction of your life. But this blessing, this breakthrough, this change, it requires your attention. It requires your heart to be awake, your spirit to be listening, your eyes to be open. That is why I brought you here. That is why you are reading this exact sentence. That is why your heart feels the pull inside you right now. Something inside you knows this message is not just words. It is me speaking directly into you. You have skipped my warnings before, and each time, you walked into battles I tried to shield you from. You ended up in relationships that drained your soul because you ignored the feeling I placed in your spirit. You stayed connected to people who held you back because you convinced yourself you could manage on your own. You returned to habits that were hurting you because you did not want to face the pain underneath. You ignored the gentle signs because they felt too easy to overlook. But my child, those missed warnings cost you more than you realized. And now I speak with sorrow, Not sorrow because I am disappointed in you, but sorrow because I watched your heart break in places where it never needed to. I watched you hold on to things I tried to remove. I watched you give your energy to people who did not value your heart. I watched you pray for peace while holding on to what was stealing your peace. I watched you cry out for answers while turning away from the moments where I tried to give them to you. And still I stayed. Still I protected you. Still I guided you. Still I love you with a kind of love that does not withdraw, even after being ignored. But this moment right here, I need your full attention now. I am not asking you. I am telling you not because I want control, but because I am trying to save your future. You have entered a turning point, a place where the next steps of your life are about to unfold. What comes next depends on whether you listen now. There is a blessing approaching you that has timing attached to it. There is a door opening that will not stay open forever. There is healing moving toward you, but it needs your willingness. There is a shift happening in the spiritual realm. And if you walk away, you will walk into the wrong direction at the wrong time. You have prayed, God, send me a sign. This is the sign. You have prayed. God, speak to me clearly. This is me speaking clearly. You have prayed, God, show me what to do. This moment is that answer. Do you feel the weight in these words? Do you feel the pressure in your chest? Do you feel the stillness entering the room around you? That is me. I am resting my presence over you because your spirit needs to hear this without noise interrupting. I am making everything inside you soften, so the truth can reach places pain used to block. And I want you to understand something very important. I am not warning you because something bad is coming. I am warning you so that something good does not slip through your hands. What I have prepared for you will heal you. It will restore you. It will relieve you from years of emotional heaviness. It will bring clarity to questions that haunted you. It will feel like stepping into sunlight after years of standing in shadows. But if your heart is not paying attention, you may overlook it. You may reject it. You may walk past it because it does not look like what you expected. You may hesitate again and lose the timing. That is why I am saying, with my full authority and my full love, you cannot afford to miss this. At this time, I have aligned things for your good. I have prepared hearts to help you. I have positioned opportunities for you. I have healed parts of you that were once too fragile. I have cleared paths you did not even know were blocked. I have done things behind the scenes that you will only understand later, but all of it leads to this moment, this call, this warning, this opening. So stay. Do not move. Do not exit. Do not skip. Do not tell yourself you will read the rest later. You said later too many times in your life, and it cost you years. This moment is not asking for later. It is asking for now. I am here. I am speaking, and what I sent for you is closer than you think. My child, let me tell you why I had to interrupt you like this. Why I stepped into this moment with a weight you can feel in your chest. Why I reached into your day and pulled your attention toward me with a force you could not ignore. You have been drifting without even realizing it. You have been moving through your days on autopilot, going from one thought to another, from one burden to the next, carrying weight that was never meant to rest on your shoulders. You have been overwhelmed by life in ways you never said out loud. You have been carrying a heaviness inside your heart that made you feel distant from yourself, distant from your purpose, and even distant from me. Not because you do not love me, but because the noise around you became louder than the quiet voice inside you. You have been tired, not just in your body, but in your spirit. You have been emotionally drained, spiritually numb, mentally exhausted, and silently hurting. Your mind has been busy even when your body was still. Your heart has been running even when your feet were not moving. You have been drowning in responsibilities, in pressure, in unanswered questions, and in old wounds that you tried to bury but kept resurfacing. You have been fighting battles without energy, making decisions without clarity, and surviving days without peace. And because of this, you started to drift not away from me intentionally, but away from your own center. You became lost inside the noise you could not escape. My child, you have missed so many of my signals, not because you are stubborn, but because you are overwhelmed. You have walked past so many of my whispers, not because you are careless, but because your mind has been too loud. You have been ignoring the gentle nudge in your heart, not because you do not care, but because you have been trying to hold your world together with hands that are already tired. I saw how you tried to numb the pain just to make it through another day. I saw how you distracted yourself so you would not have to face what your heart was feeling. I saw how you told yourself, "I am fine," even when something inside you was screaming for help. The noise of your life became like a wall between your soul and my voice. Fear added more layers to that wall. Confusion added more breaks. Emotional heaviness sealed it shut. This is why you kept missing me. Not because I was not speaking, but because the world around you was speaking louder. Not because I pulled away, but because fear clouded your ability to feel me. Not because I stopped guiding you, but because you were so used to surviving that you did not notice when I tried to lead you. And I understood all of it. I never judged you for it. I never looked at you with disappointment. I watched you trying to navigate storms without realizing I was standing right beside you, trying to anchor you. But now something important is moving toward you. Something heaven planned long before this moment. Something meant to shift the direction of your life. Something meant to wipe away the heaviness you have been carrying for years. That is why I had to interrupt you. That is why I stepped in so suddenly. That is why my presence feels strong, almost demanding, almost urgent, because what is coming for you cannot be missed, delayed, or ignored. Your spirit must be awake. Your heart must be open. Your ears must be listening. You cannot drift through this moment the way you drifted through so many others. The blessing that is approaching requires your attention, your awareness, your willingness. You have been praying for peace, praying for direction, praying for healing, praying for a sign. Some of those prayers you whispered with shaking hands. Some you whispered with tears soaking your pillow. Some you whispered while pretending to be strong. And I have heard every one of them. Not one prayer slipped through my fingers. Not one whisper was missed. Not one cry was ignored. All of heaven has been preparing for this moment, aligning things in the background, shifting pieces you cannot see, closing doors that were hurting you, opening doors that will lead you to peace, rearranging the people around you, blocking steps that would have broken you. And the timing, oh my child, the timing is perfect. You may not understand it yet, but heaven's timing is never late, never early. What is coming into your life is arriving exactly when your spirit is ready to receive it, not when your mind feels ready, not when your circumstances look ready, but when your spirit is ready. That is why things seem delayed. That is why you felt stuck. That is why you wondered if I forgot about you. I was not late. I was preparing everything so that when the blessing arrives, it can stay. This moment right now is one of the most important alignments of your entire journey. Heaven waited for this exact space in time to whisper this message into your spirit. I interrupted your day because the blessing that is coming cannot land on a distracted heart. It cannot fall into the noise. It cannot enter a soul that is half asleep. It must be received with awareness, with stillness, with openness. That is why I pulled you here. That is why you cannot ignore this. That is why this interruption is holy. I timed this moment with precision. Every second led to this. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak, every quiet night, every closed door, all of it led you to this very point where your spirit would finally be ready to hear me. Heaven aligned your steps even when you felt lost. Heaven guided your path even when you stumbled. Heaven protected your heart even when you thought you were breaking. And heaven brought you to this moment, so you would not miss what is coming next. My child, I interrupted you because I love you. I interrupted you because you are important. I interrupted you because I see what you cannot see yet. I interrupted you because your story is about to shift, and you need to be alert for it. What is coming will require your awareness, your faith, your readiness. Heaven is already moving. The blessing is already on its way, and you are finally in the right place to receive it. My child, come sit with me in this moment, because I am about to speak into the parts of you that you hide from everyone else. I see the emotional exhaustion you carry like a quiet weight on your chest. I see the heartbreak you never fully recovered from, the pain you tried to bury so deeply that even you pretend it no longer exists. I see the loneliness that presses against your soul, the nights when you felt like no one truly knew you, no one truly understood you, no one truly stayed long enough to see the real wounds underneath your silence. I see the confusion that filled your mind when life shifted in ways you did not expect, when plans collapsed, when relationships faded, when doors closed without warning. I saw how every shift left you feeling lost, wondering what went wrong, wondering if something was wrong with you. I know the spiritual dryness that made you feel disconnected from everything, even from me. I know the moments when prayer felt heavy on your tongue, when worship felt distant, when your heart felt numb instead of alive. I know the days when you questioned whether I was still near, because you felt nothing but emptiness inside. I know the fear that crept into your thoughts late at night, fear of failure, fear of being alone forever, fear of being a burden, fear of being too broken to love or be loved, fear of repeating old cycles, fear of never becoming who you hoped you would be. I know the internal battles you fight with yourself, the tug of war between wanting to be strong and feeling like you are falling apart. You often think you are hiding these things, shielding them from the world, keeping them sealed inside, because you do not want to be a burden, do not want to seem weak, do not want to admit how much you truly hurt. But my child, I have seen every tear you cried, even the ones you wiped away before they could fall. I saw the nights when you held yourself together until the rest of the world was asleep, only to break down in silence because you did not want anyone to hear your pain. I saw the nights when your pillow carried your tears while your voice whispered prayers. You did not have the strength to speak out loud. I saw the nights you thought no one cared, no one noticed, no one understood. I saw you sitting alone trying to breathe through the heaviness in your chest. I saw you reaching for strength you did not think you had. I saw you choosing to keep going when everything inside you wanted to give up. You felt forgotten many times. You felt like everyone mattered to someone but you. You felt like you were always the one giving, always the one caring, always the one trying, always the one loving deeply, while others gave you only fragments of what you needed. You felt like people came into your life only to take pieces of you and leave when it no longer benefited them. You felt abandoned, rejected, overlooked, and unimportant. And each time someone walked away, a deeper wound formed inside you. You wondered if you were hard to love. You wondered if you were cursed. You wondered if your heart was simply too much for the world to hold. But listen to me, my beloved child. I never left you, not once. Not in your darkest night. Not in your loneliest moment. Not in your deepest confusion. Not in the hours when you felt me least. Not in the times when your heart was too weary to feel anything at all. You believed you were alone, but I was right there beside you, closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts, closer than the beating inside your chest. When you thought silence meant absence, it actually meant I was holding you in ways you did not recognize. There were moments when your pain was so deep that you did not feel my presence at all, and you assumed I had abandoned you. But my child, I need you to understand this truth. The moments you felt me the least were the moments I was holding you the tightest. When your mind was overwhelmed by fear, I was guarding your spirit. When your heart was breaking, I was collecting every shattered piece. When you felt numb and disconnected, I was sitting in the numbness with you, keeping you from drowning in it. When you felt unworthy, I whispered worth over your identity. When you felt invisible, I saw you with perfect clarity. When you felt unloved, I wrapped you in a love you could not feel yet. You cried in the dark, and heaven heard you. You whispered, "Help me," and the angels moved. You said, "Lord, I cannot do this anymore," and I strengthened you in places you did not even realize were supported by me. You kept going, not because you were strong, but because I was carrying you. You survived heartbreak, not because you healed quickly, but because I held your heart together in the places it was bleeding. You survived trauma, not because you were tough, but because my hand covered the parts of your soul that were most fragile. You were never the reason you made it through. I saw the loneliness you tried to hide by staying busy. I saw the emptiness you tried to silence by distracting yourself. I saw the worry you tried to cover with jokes and laughter. I saw the brokenness behind your smile, and I want you to know this: none of your pain ever disappointed me. I did not step back from you because you struggled. I did not withdraw because you questioned me. I did not turn away because you felt weak. I stayed with you through every emotion, every doubt, every fear. When you thought your prayers were useless because nothing seemed to change, I was working in places you could not see. When you cried, "Why does it still hurt?" I was healing you layer by layer. When you asked, "Where are you?" I whispered, "Right here." You thought silence meant distance, but silence was me holding your heart gently, so it would not break under the pressure. You thought unanswered prayers meant I ignored you, but unanswered prayers were me protecting you from things you begged for, but were never meant to carry. You carry shame for breaking down. Let go of that shame. I was with you in the breakdown. You carry shame for feeling weak. Let go of that shame. I was your strength when you had none. You carry shame for not being okay. Let go of that shame. I never required you to pretend. I needed you to be honest. Your tears were prayers. Your silence was prayer. Your pain was prayer. Your longing was prayer. And I listened to all of it. I have walked with you through every chapter, through the heartbreak that cracked your innocence, through the disappointment that dimmed your hope, through the loss that hollowed your chest, through the loneliness that echoed inside your soul, through the anxiety that made breathing difficult. I was there. I saw the weight on your shoulders. I felt the shiver in your spirit. I heard the words you could not speak. I understood the fear behind your decisions. I recognized the exhaustion hidden behind your strength. And now I speak with tenderness. You were never weak. You were wounded. You were never unlovable. You were unprotected. You were never forgotten. You were fought for. You were never alone. You were held. You were never invisible. You were seen. You were never abandoned. You were guarded. You were never broken beyond repair. You were breaking open so healing could enter. I know your pain. I honor your pain. I understand your pain. But I am also going to heal your pain. I am touching the deepest parts of you now, the parts you thought were too damaged to bring into the light. I am sitting in your silence, holding your trembling heart, reminding you that your pain has a purpose, and your story has a future. You do not have to pretend. You do not have to be strong for me. You do not have to hide your wounds. I came for the wounded. I hold the broken. I restore the crushed. You are safe with me. You have always been safe with me. My child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal to you is not a small whisper, not a gentle nudge, not one of the soft reminders you have learned to brush aside. What I am about to tell you carries the weight of heaven behind it. A blessing, a breakthrough, a shift so meaningful that your future will not look like your past. But this blessing requires your attention. It requires your heart to be awake. It requires your spirit to be alert. It requires obedience in a way you are not used to giving. And this is why I am warning you now. You are standing in a moment that is more important than you realize. Something is moving toward you in the spiritual realm. Something prepared specifically for you. Shaped for your heart. Designed for your future. Aligned with your purpose. But blessings, my child, have timing. They do not fall randomly. They do not drop without preparation. They do not arrive when the heart is asleep. They come when the soul is listening, when the spirit is open, when the mind is willing, when the heart is surrendered. This is why I am interrupting your life with divine urgency. This is why I am speaking so clearly. This is why my presence feels heavier than usual. You are approaching a moment that must not be missed. You have prayed for change, but change requires awareness. You have prayed for doors to open, but doors cannot open if you are facing the wrong direction. You have prayed for clarity, but clarity cannot come to a distracted heart. You have prayed for new beginnings. But new beginnings cannot enter a life still clinging to old pain. You have prayed for miracles, but miracles require your spirit to be awake enough to recognize them. And right now, you have been drifting in and out of that awareness. Your heart has been tired. Your mind has been overwhelmed. Your spirit has been weighed down by things that do not belong to you. And because of that, you have been missing my signs without even knowing it. So hear me now, my child. This blessing is time sensitive. This shift is time sensitive. This breakthrough is time sensitive. It is not because I am impatient. It is because there are opportunities that only come once in a lifetime. There are doors that only open for a season. There are alignments that cannot be repeated. There are moments heaven designed with precision. Moments that must be received when they arrive. If your heart is not ready, if your attention is elsewhere, if fear pulls you away again, if old patterns distract you, you may miss what I sent specifically for you. Do not misunderstand me. My love for you is not time sensitive. My presence is not time sensitive. My mercy is not time sensitive. But the blessing I am preparing right now, the opportunity heading toward you, the spiritual shift forming around your life that is tied to a moment that must be honored. This warning is not meant to scare you. It is meant to save you from delay, save you from disappointment, save you from cycles you already survived, save you from repeating pain I already pulled you out of, save you from losing what heaven has worked so hard to prepare. You do not see what I see. You do not see the movement in the unseen realm. You do not see the doors beginning to unlock. You do not see the angels positioning things behind the scenes. You do not see the changes being stirred in the hearts of people connected to your destiny. You do not see how close you are to breakthrough. You do not see how near the blessing is. You do not see how fragile this moment is, not fragile because of weakness, but fragile because of timing. When heaven begins to move, the enemy begins to distract. When your blessing gets closer, the noise around you gets louder. When your breakthrough is near, your mind becomes more restless, your heart more overwhelmed, your thoughts more scattered. This is why I am warning you. You have been spiritually tired, and tiredness makes the spirit blind to my signs, blind to my guidance, blind to my warnings, blind to the blessings standing right in front of you. You have been feeling unsettled lately, like something is shifting around you. That is because something in the spiritual realm is rearranging itself to deliver what I promised you. But your awareness must match the movement. You cannot sleep through this moment. You cannot be numb through this moment. You cannot be distracted when destiny knocks. You cannot let fear pull your eyes away. I am going to say this with love but with firmness. If you remain distracted, if you keep ignoring my warnings, if you continue numbing your spirit, you will miss what I sent specifically for you, not because I will take it away, but because your focus will not be aligned with the blessing when it arrives. You will misjudge it. You will overlook it. You will doubt it. You will walk past it. You will delay what was meant to be immediate. That is why I am speaking so strongly. That is why my words feel heavier than usual. That is why your heart is trembling as you read this. Because this warning is not like the others. My child, open your eyes, open your spirit, open your heart. Something you have been praying for is coming. Something you thought was impossible is about to enter your life. Something you believed you missed is returning. Something you thought was dead is being revived. Something you believed would never happen for you is being prepared right now. But this blessing requires readiness. It requires attention. It requires obedience. It requires you to stop drifting. It requires you to stop running. It requires you to stop ignoring the soft tug you feel right now. You have missed blessings before because you allowed yourself to be pulled away at the last moment. You convinced yourself you were not ready. You doubted my voice. You went back to old habits. You returned to people who drained your spirit. You let fear talk louder than faith. You silenced your heart when it was trying to guide you. And every time the blessing came close, you stepped back. At this time, I am fighting for you. I am fighting against the noise. I am fighting against your numbness. I am fighting against every lie that tells you to delay. I am fighting against every emotional weight holding you down. I am fighting to make sure you do not miss what is coming. This is why I am warning you, and I need you to take my warning seriously, not fearfully. One last time, hear me clearly. This warning is not to scare you. It is to save you. It is to save your blessing, save your breakthrough, save your future, save your peace, save your purpose. My child, listen to me now with a still heart, because I am about to lift the veil from battles you never saw, attacks you did not recognize, and storms that formed around you long before they touched your life. You have been walking through a world that looks ordinary on the surface, but beneath it, there has been a spiritual war surrounding you for years. You thought the heaviness you felt came from your own weakness, but it came from forces that did not want you to reach the place I was guiding you. You thought your confusion came from your mind failing you, but it came from interference trying to block your clarity. You thought your delays were failures, but they were battles being fought over your destiny. You saw the natural side of your pain, but you never saw the spiritual storms that raged around you, trying to stop what I placed inside of you. There have been forces working against your blessing, not because you are cursed, but because you are chosen. The enemy does not attack what has no future. He does not target what has no value. He does not resist what poses no threat. He fought you because heaven marked you. He fought you because you carry purpose. He fought you because you survived things that should have destroyed you. He fought you because he saw the growth coming before you did. The battles you faced were not random. They were spiritual attempts to delay your breakthrough, dim your hope, and weaken your connection to me. You wondered why you felt heavy even when nothing was wrong. That heaviness was spiritual interference. trying to drain your strength before the blessing arrived. You wondered why you suddenly doubted yourself, doubted your path, doubted your worth, doubted my love. The doubt was not yours. It was planted to weaken your spirit. You wondered why relationships shifted, why people changed, why connection fell apart without explanation. My child, some of those relationships were influenced by spiritual forces trying to distract you, derail you, or drain you before you stepped into your next season.